Welcome, everybody. A couple minutes late here. Appreciate you joining me. Um, let's see here. Let me just get something up on the screen and then we'll get started. Okay. Welcome, Phoenix. I appreciate you joining me here today. And today's class should be fun. What we're going to do is we are going to draw with tone. And let's see. Let me lower my volume on my computer here. Let me know if the sound sounds the way that it's supposed to sound, like clear and not echoey, the way that it normally should sound. Yes. So, a quick sip of coffee here, and we'll get started. Trying not to give you the slurpy sound effects here. So, yes, okay. It was a busy weekend doing non art stuff, and I'm a little delirious today. Lots going on. Super tired. Welcome, deep fried friends. And yes, so I don't know. Oh, I don't even have. Oh, here's my other glasses. Okay, these glasses are so old. They are so old, and they're chipped on the bottom, and they're my old readers, but they are so good for like this perfect distance. And I wear these. These are progressives, and I wear these all the time. But for this, I love these old glasses. I gotta update them, get a new pair at this lens strength. Okay, I digress. I digress. You're not here to hear me talk about my lenses. So welcome, Carol. A little muffled sound is good. Okay, so Karen, basically, I bought this microphone years and years and years ago because my house is so noisy with everyone, wife, kids, dogs, and if I move my mouth like away from the mic and talk, and then I come back close, like it doesn't pick me up. Um, so yeah, if that's what you mean by muffled, I need to talk a little bit closer to the microphone. Welcome, Portrait Walla. Okay, one more sip of coffee, and we're gonna get started drawing. Okay. No, no, Karen, I want to hear because like sometimes this mic is not connected for whatever reason. I just don't click on the right connection, and then the mic above me like picks up the sound, and that sound is like horrendous, horrendous. Hey, Paul, um, Batman 99. How does one learn art skills? Well, you come here and you watch, and you ask questions. Okay, let me switch to my reference because you're not here to look at me, right? You're here to learn how to draw. And like I said, I really appreciate y'all watching today and joining me, and we'll have fun. Okay, so I'm going to go to this scene. And this is a statue done by Rodin, and it is a statue of Madame X. And I never really knew that. Like, I know all about the Madame X John Singer Sargent painting, one of my favorite paintings, and I use that Madame X painting to really teach about edges. And yeah, so this is really cool. Now, Madame X. Didn't accept this one because Madam X said that her nose looked too big and it looked a little blurry, like there was a veil covering the face. So that was the big thing with this that I read. And I found this. It's in the channel posts if you want the photo to draw with me. Bigger, you can get it there. Now, I love the Met collection because most of these pieces are in the public domain. And so I just love the Met collection. It's a great place to find photo reference if you're looking for something to draw. Now, okay, I've started to really like these Lyra graphite sticks when I do demonstrations in my classroom at the School of Visual Arts. They're really good. Mike Matisse came and visited my classroom about a year ago and was drawing with these, and I'm like, oh, let me give it a try. And I wouldn't say this is like my go-to piece of equipment, but I will say that it's fun to draw with, and I do use it more and more often in the classroom, especially when I've got like 20, 19-year-olds watching me who have an iPhone. They're actually really good. Like they sit and they watch. But you don't want to make these tutorials in the classroom too long because people, some students can't see. They're far away. There's 19 of them and one of me. So this helps me draw fast. Now, okie dokie. It would be nice if I had photo reference to look at. Now, let me give myself my live area. Now, this is a 6B Lyra stick. And I personally, from what I've experimented with, I personally love the 9B on newsprint. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever used this on this paper. So today is going to be a one big fat experiment to see if I crash and burn. So you'll see me crash and burn right on the whatchamacallit video here today. Okay, so just looking at some of these. Um, so Batman 99, is it important to know artist history? For me, no. I think it's good if you're a little bit more well read. Definitely, but for me, yeah, art history, and me never really connected too much, and that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a good thing. I think the more you know about the artist's history, the better. It just gives everything like a little bit more context. So okay, so today we're drawing without an outline. Now, if you have followed me on YouTube, you know that I love to draw with outlines. And today I'm going to try not to do that. What we are going to do here is we're going to attempt to draw like we're drawing like a painter with tone. And I'm just getting this one thing here. And I think it's good for those of you like me who really like to outline things every once in a while to kind of get out of your comfort zone and to try something different. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my blend-in stump today. I'm gonna be really aggressive. I just want to kind of make a mess today and see what happens. And let me just move this down. Karen, is there a greater benefit to drawing sculpture than a photo of a person? One benefit of drawing from sculpture is that you're drawing. Hey, Solar, you're drawing from a sculpture where the artist has taken months, if not years, to think about it and plan it out in some cases. And so basically, you're already drawing something that is beautiful. Whereas if you pick a photo and you draw from the photo and there's like something weird going on with the knee or weird going on with the hands or the lighting is horrendous, well, you're already at a disadvantage. So I like drawing from both, and I love drawing from sculptures because think about it. The artist just, was sculpting this, and, with the Rodin, some of them took, I don't know enough about Rodin to speak about this, but I know with some sculptors, they really plan out the pose. And yeah, so that's the benefit that I can think of, Karen. And all right, now, what do we do here? What am I doing? I'm going to zoom in soon. I am starting to the left of the statue's ear, and I'm drawing that shadow shape. I am not outlining the top of the head. So the ear is right here. Okay. And right here, I think, is where the hair touches the neck. Now, this is not an outline, it's a tone, and I'm going to wrap around over here. This is the jawbone. This is the cheekbone. At least I think it is. And I'm trying not to outline. I'm trying to draw with tone. I'm trying to be true to what the video title says. And so now I'm coming down to the other side of the neck. Now I'm drawing very lightly at first, and I apologize for that. I need my remote watch. That's the only thing I have no idea where it is, the remote control. Beautiful. We're off to a great start here. 1 second. It's where it should be. It's on my table right next to me. So let me zoom in a little bit because I don't want this to bore you to death. Okay. I think that's good right now. I think that's good. Let me get a little sip of coffee. So, let me get a scrap piece of paper here. So, Batman, I want to get started with this drawing, and I'm here to answer your questions too. But just to answer your question very, very quickly here, the best way to practice making your line smooth is to draw a long line. Do not lift your pencil off the paper, and to try to um, go over your line multiple times. This is the way not to make your line smooth. And it's really that simple. It's a split second, tenth of a second, tenth of a second, tenth of the second. I talk about this all the time. So the way to make your line smooth is to keep your pencil on the paper and to go over it multiple times, okay? That's just practice. That doesn't mean you need to keep your pencil on the paper for that length of time. It's just when you practice, that's good practice. Okay, so getting back to this, I'm going to now, I don't want to draw with outline, and I'm making a concerted effort not to do that. So, how do I do this without, okay, so this is without drawing with an outline, and that is, well, I'm going to do one or two minor outlines just as placement, but before I get to background tone. So, now if this is the back of Madam X's hair, under the ear, and that's the ear, across from that, the jaw is kind of even with the bottom of the hair. Now, this should be the background tone, so I'm going to try to stick with. Now, I got to be careful because I don't want to be too much of a purist, because the idea here is the background tone against the white of the face of the statue. But let me do a test like immediately to see how this erases. Let me do a test immediately so I can know where I stand. Okay, so I'm gonna do it on a scrap piece of paper. Let me do it on this scrap piece of paper. It's the same paper. So pencil, does it erase easily or hard? It doesn't erase great, but it erases. It doesn't erase as nice as I thought. Well, that kind of sucks. Okay. What if I press down lighter? Does that erase? Not as much as I would like. It doesn't erase as much as I would like. So what I need to do is I really need to be conscious of that, because I want to do some of this drawing with my eraser. I want to pull out the lights. But if this doesn't erase well, that's no good. So in the beginning of this drawing, I've got to be very, very conscious of that. I'm glad that I did that test. Again, I've never really used this pencil on this paper. I think for me personally, as a teacher, it's good for me just to go on YouTube and draw and let the cards fall where they may, and not worry so much about like my ego and trying to make like perfect drawings. Like, oh wow, yeah, look at me, I did a really nice drawing. Like I think it's nice for me to get out of my comfort zone and to be willing to make some mistakes. And why? Like, why should I do that? Why shouldn't every drawing be a masterpiece? Well, it's good for you to learn through my mistakes. And, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. And now this part of, oh, God, that's an outline. Damn it. Okay. Damn it. I used an outline. So I'm going to put some tone over here to salvage my non-outline drawing. So I'm doing tone next to the white of the hair. I'm doing tone next to the white of the hair. I am not outlining. I am trying to be good. And how wide? Cheekbone, face, chin, background tone, light of the neck. Okay. Let me just kind of, is it the oils in the pencil? I probably. Probably. Now, let me try a different eraser. So, yeah, let me try this. So, lightly putting pressure. I love this pencil. This pencil erases pretty good. It is the Blackwing 602. Does this eraser? This eraser is better, but it doesn't erase 100%. So I'm still going to be mindful of that. Now, this I'm going to try. I won't erase this just yet. That's the light side of the face. Oh boy, I'm really like setting myself up here for crash and burn. Okay, 1 second, 1 second. Now, this is so light. And I don't want to lose my audience here on YouTube because you can't see what the heck I'm doing. Would you consider this a finishing pencil rather than an initial sketching tool? Um, on newsprint, it's both, and on this white paper, um, I I could say that I don't know if I'm going to do a 5 hour drawing with this pencil, if I would use it in the beginning stages. I can't answer that just yet. Maybe I'll answer that at the end of the drawing, to be fair. So I'm not trying to make like a cop out. I'm just trying to. I'm just being perfectly honest with everybody here on YouTube. I've never used this paper pencil combination, and so this is like a big learning curve for me. And you're going to learn with me too here. And so far, I'm a big believer in trying to do a drawing with one pencil and having most of what you do be in the touch of your hand and not necessarily be in the materials. I'm a big believer in that, especially when it comes to graphite. I'm not saying, Don, that it's wrong to use multiple hardnesses of graphite, but what I'm saying is that I think it's very, very good for students to practice their light touch with their hand and not always rely on the pencil to be the light touch for you. Okay? Yes. And you'll see me. You'll see if I can't erase, and then you'll make the decision on your own if this pencil's not a good pencil for this sort of thing. Now, what I want to do soon is it smudges nicely. You can see that right there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use this blending stump, this monster. Okay. Now, I do use this with my coal erase. I use this with everything, and it's really not a good idea. I should have multiple of this. But yeah, when I go to the city this week, I'll go by the art supply store and buy a couple of these. Because technically now, if I put graphite on here, and then I use this with my coal erase, I don't think that's a good thing for me to do. So, Don, I really like that you are open in what you think and do as you go. This is one of, well, I appreciate that, Don. Awesome. I'm trying. Just trying to keeping it real here, and I do have a ton of experience, but I don't want to come to every single like video here on YouTube like, oh wow, look at me, I'm 30 years experienced and I could do this and I've done that. Like that gets a little old and people can't really relate. And what people can relate to is that you're a human being and you've been doing this for years, but yeah, you still make mistakes and you still learn from the mistakes. And that's what I'm trying to get like my younger students at the School of Visual Arts to really wrap their arms around, that the only way they're going to get better is by making mistakes. But if you just make mistakes alone, that's no good. If you make mistakes, you need to journal about them and write down why you made those mistakes and what the solution is to remedy those mistakes. Like, I think that is so valuable. And I don't know how many of my students actually follow through with what I teach and actually have a sketchbook / journal where they write this stuff in the journal. But I recommend it, and I can't force anybody to do anything. I could maybe in the future make it part of my class where I make my students go out. I can tell already the head's a little short, so we'll see how that erases, because the top of the hair is very light against this background. So I could make them maybe next semester go out and get a journal and write in it about each thing that they did. And there's only I have so many hours in my class to talk about stuff, and it goes by really, really quick. So you got to pick and choose your battles. Now, okay, how does one draw without the Loomis method? Batman, people, okay, so you just draw without the Loomis method. It's to me, it's called common sense measurements. So these are common sense measurements, and for me personally, and the more I do this sort of drawing, the more I'm able to see my proportions quickly without any kind of. I like to call certain techniques like training wheels, and I'm not saying that like in an arrogant, egotistical sort of way, like a demeaning way, because I use training wheels all the time for like many things. But I think it's good to take the training wheels off, aka Loomis method, and to draw without it. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the best thing for you to do all the time, every day, in every drawing that you do, but I do feel that it's very good practice to take the training wheels off and just draw. Batman 99, it's almost like you're doing that, and I'm doing this Rodin statue right now as a form of just direct observation and not using like a training wheel technique. Now, what about the kneaded eraser? Well, that's pretty good. Is it leaving some residue from the pencil? Yes, but the kneaded eraser, Don, that one works pretty good too. That one works pretty good too. Now, I'm gonna try this because the hair needs to be taller. Ooh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Hey, Giorgio, welcome, welcome. What time is it over there in Italy? Okay, so that's my first go through. Is it perfect? No. Does it need to be taller? Yes. Do I need to erase the top of the hair? I do. I do, darn it. Okay, big experiment time. Big experiment time. Does this is acceptable to me. This is acceptable. Is it perfect? No. Um oh boy, you're using military time. So 12 is 12 noon, 6:30 in the evening. Okay. Boy, let me get another sip of coffee here. One second. Okay. So, how am I doing here? What do I need to do? I'm going to go back to my blending stump and push a little bit harder in certain areas to draw more with the blending stump. Tea time, yes. It is 11 a.m. here on Eastern Long Island in the state of New York. Yes. So, when practicing drawing, is it better to draw large or small? Okay, let's give you context. So, I think when you are drawing, if you have the opportunity, VHP 55, to be in a classroom setting with a model where you're drawing from life with a model context, I think it's better to draw on a bigger sheet of paper, like an 18 by 24 drawing pad, big pad. If you're in your studio and you draw from photographs and you're drawing out of your imagination, I think like what is a really good size is 11 by 14, 14 by 17. I think that's really good. It like everything is about context. Like, how big is this? I'm not drawing big today. For me, I guess this portrait's a little big. So the hair to the chin is 4 inches. That's okay. The entire drawing right now is 7 inches. For me, for a portrait, I'm gonna say that that's big. That's big for me for a portrait. I like to draw my portraits a little bit smaller, but I'm using this big clunky graphite stick, so I think it's reasonable for me to draw this big with that clunky graphite stick. I wouldn't draw any smaller with it because then all I'm going to be doing VHP 55 is sharpening it constantly, and that's going to be annoying. And so those are my parameters. Now, in my career, I've always worked smaller. I just like working smaller for me in my studio. But in the whatchamacallit, in the classroom, I'm drawing. I'm going to lower this sheet of paper and I'm going to move it to the left. I always like working bigger. Number one, because I have 20, 19-year-olds around me, and if I draw too small, they can't see what the heck I'm doing. And I think in a life drawing class situation, it's better to draw bigger because when you draw bigger and you're doing a figure drawing, you're drawing with your arm and you are not drawing with your fingers. And so you're looser when you draw with your arm. You're tighter when you draw with just your fingers. And I draw with my fingers when I'm in my studio and when I'm drawing smaller. So those are just some generic rules. Now, okay, so today's class is very much about drawing with tone, like I'm doing here, and I'm really setting myself up to make this thing look like a painting and less like a drawing. And I'm trying my very best to not use any outlines. And I think this is just a really good visual exercise. Now, I talk about visual exercises a lot in my class because I have students in the animation department. And the big modus operandi in the animation department is to draw quick, 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 and to do 5-minute poses, 2-minute poses, 3-minute poses. And in the animation department, the students don't love the long ones. Like I might get like 2 students in a class who like to spend a little bit more time on their drawings, but the majority is short. So yeah, this is good to do something different. Okay. Um, that's my first go through. That's my first go through. And the animation department at the School of Visual Arts is just such a great department because you learn everything you need to learn digitally, but yet simultaneously there's still drawing classes that teach you traditional sorts of like things. So as far as I'm concerned, like it really is the best of both worlds, the animation department. Like it's all digital all the time, but in like you can still work traditionally. Like the teachers are not gonna I can only speak for myself. Like in my perspective backgrounds class, if a student wants to work traditionally and not digitally, that's cool. I'll promote that all day long. I'm just trying to place the features right now. That lip needs to be a little bit higher. Notice I'm drawing with my blend-in stump. And this should erase very easily. Okay. And now let me place the bottom of the nose. The nose is extremely sharp. And let me it's supposed I read the description and Madam X is supposed to kind of be like gazing and not eyes fully open. So take that for what it's worth. That seems a little too wide to me right there. So um, Do you use the stump also in the lights or only in the shadows? I feel like it gets smudgy No, like okay, that's a really good question, Mario. So Mario, like you just need to say this mantra to yourself when you draw like this. And here's the mantra. In order to have light, you must have dark, which means don't overshade and render and manipulate the light side of the face. A different mantra is keep your lights light and keep your shadows shadowy. That is a very good mantra, and that's actually the better one out of the two. And just to repeat what I just said, keep the lights light, keep the shadows shadowy. This eye socket's way too small. So I'm kind of using the blend-in stump to draw because the facial features, aka the eyebrow eye, they're so light on this particular statue right now that I don't want to use that pencil here. This would be, I think the face is a little bit too wide, and I'm going to have to start drawing with back to the pencil to put some more tone down now. So yeah, Mario, keep your lights light, keep your shadows shadowy. This is like one of the most fundamental things to think about if you want to draw in more of this traditional manner. Okay, I think I need to go back to the pencil and put more pencil down. So I think what I just did there is extremely safe because I didn't overcommit yet with the pencil. And yes, so I still want to draw with the blend-in stump for a moment here. I don't want this to be boring, but Kid Lion, I like sight measuring and drawing lightly and adjusting as needed. Yeah, I like that too. Hey, Matt, where do you pick these reference figures? So photographs I get from that website, Graphit Studio, GRAFIT, Graphit Studio. And then these I get from the Met collection. Okay, I think I need to go back. Now, what I would love to do eventually is to incorporate the Blackwing 602 into the mix. But right now, I want to be a little bit of a purist with this graphite stick. Okay, 1 second. Let me just get this coffee before it completely gets cold. Now, I'm trying to also look at the statue from far away. So at this point in the game, I believe that maybe the statue is a little bit too wide. The head is a little bit too wide, but I don't want to overjudge just yet. I want to keep going, and I have a sharpener for the graphite stick. It's the Lyra graphite stick sharpener, but it's at school, and I don't have one at home, and so I'm not going to sharpen this thing just yet, but soon. So I'm going to come in a little bit here on the edge. Oh, that's a line. Okay, so I'm going to come in a little bit more on the edge. Trying to use tone. And this cheekbone is very important right over here. How far away is that from the edge of the face? The jawbone coming straight down is also very important. That's the bottom of the ear, side of the neck. I'm still doing my very best, people on YouTube, that I am trying to draw with tone and no outline. So now this is the jawbone dark halftone, at least I think it is. This is the neck cast shadow that the head is casting on the neck. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to like this pencil. We're going to see soon enough here. Um, so, Kid Lion, I've seen a lot of my drawings getting darker when I try to turn the object in front of me, frustrating at best. Would this be a way to do live figure drawing? Yes. Yes. You could do this. So there's two camps in the drawing department. There is the lineless camp. Well, there's three camps. I'm making these camps up. But this is, I mean, I've been doing this for years, so I've been there, done that, seen so many artists, especially in the classroom teaching at the college for 28 years. You see like a lot of things. So there are people who only work with tone, and this is working with tone. There are people who only work with line, and then there's somebody like me who likes to do line and tone. And I love combining line of tone. But in today's class here on YouTube, I'm trying to be just more tonal and less linear. But this is a legit way. Now, the person next to you in the classroom might be working with just line, and that's fine. You know, you have to do, you know, what you enjoy. And that's a whole nother way of thinking about all this, is to do what you enjoy. Doing a little bit of background there. I think that went out too far to the right from the face. Maybe the cheekbone could come out. Okay, so I may have heard this from you. Your lightest dark. Okay, your lightest dark areas must be darker than your lightest light areas. Yes, and that goes to that saying: keep your lights light, keep your shadows shadowy. It's just a core fundamental to painting, and it's a core fundamental to tonal drawing, in my opinion. And for me, it just makes complete sense for your visuals. Even like, so for me, I'm teaching my animation students how to do backgrounds and just scenes in general, and how to what are the tools that they need to control where the viewer looks first, second, and third. So I talk about this sort of stuff all the time. Okay, so we just went through it again. Maybe I did have the hair right the first time. Okay, I'm going to go back to the blend-in stump, and I'm going to be a lunatic. I'm going to press down hard. Do I have any coffee left? No, I just have my chocolate electrolytes at the bottom of the coffee. So hold on. There's a company called LMNT, and I use them every single day. They're a little pricey, but it's non-sugar electrolytes, nice balance of potassium, magnesium, and sodium. And I get they have flavors. They have one packet unflavored for the purists who out there. But yeah. Speaking of addicted, I'm definitely addicted to that. So how does one Batman 99 memorize the human muscles? Well, the way the human anatomy is so complicated and overwhelming, you will like get overwhelmed if you try to do it all at one time. So my recommendation is that you just study one bone a week, get through the bones, and then you study one muscle a week. And I right now, and don't worry about the deep muscles. Just get the surface muscles. Like if I was to do some anatomical drawing for you right now, I most of the body I can draw out of my imagination with the muscles, no doubt. And not that's not because I'm like so smart. That's just because I've done it so many times. And there's been so many times in the classroom where I look at the model and I'm like, what is that? Like, why is that light and shade there? Why is there that bump on the back? What muscle is that? And then I'll like look it up. And I've done so many drawing tutorials on my website, drawing tutorials online, that over the years I've just memorized the muscles and all of that. Now, are there parts of the body that I still forget? Yeah, because anatomy is a language. And if you don't speak it every single day, you're going to forget it. So I tend to forget. There's a lot of muscles in your forearm and your lower legs. I know what they are, but I kind of forget like um, a lot of their names, but I could draw them. Like I understand the extensors on the front of the lower leg, but I don't remember all of their names. And I don't think that's important. As what's more important is that you understand their function and what they look like. That's more important. Okay. I think this drawing is going to be a crash and burn drawing because I just have that feeling because I don't know if this is going to be ultimately workable. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. Okay, so here's the philosophy that y'all, if you're listening to me here on YouTube and you're aspiring to get better, you have to go with this mindset. Let's say I'm here on YouTube and I completely screw this drawing up and I hate it. Okay, it's not the end of the world. Did I maybe embarrass myself on YouTube? Sure. But if I get my journal and I write down, okay, um, don't ever draw with that Lyra pencil again on that paper, and I write that down, I will never make that mistake again. I will never make that mistake again. So you've got to think of things kind of that way, where you're being very analytical about the materials that you use. This is too far to the right for whatever reason. And that's how you learn. And I don't know if this paper is going to take all this abuse. I'm being very, oh my God, I just went over the lines there. I took my eye off for a second. I'm being extremely abusive to the paper. And so this is a good test. Will this Strathmore paper accept this abuse? Um, I don't know. We'll find out. So we're in this drawing now 45 minutes. Okay. Let's work in the middle a little bit. My neighbor always loves to do landscaping when I do online. I think when my lights go on in my studio, like, oh, Matt's filming. Let me go get the lawnmower and the weed whacker. Oh, and we haven't used the blower yet. So I love him. I love my neighbor so much. Um, today, this past weekend, I was out in the driveway just cleaning my cars, and two of the I spoke to two of the neighbors. I haven't spoken with them almost like ever, but it was such a nice day. They were walking in the street. They just decided to come over, and we were talking, a little gossip. It was fun. It was fun. There's always like you always talk about the idiots in the neighborhood, and you have one of those in your neighborhood. I'm sure you do. Yes, they all neighborhoods have that one person that nobody likes for whatever reason. They blast their music too loud or something like that. Um, okay, let's see. This eye socket. This should be higher. Cheekbone, side of the face. This rolls into the corner of the lips. Pencil pages, welcome to the live stream. I'm experimenting today. You're not in the neighborhood? Phoenix, where are you? Where do you live? You don't have to give me exact location. You're not in this neighborhood. Depends on what kind of music you're blasting. If you're blasting the right music, well, then we're friends. Yeah, blend in tortillon for drawing with tone. Okay, we're just pushing the pencil around the paper, and it's just today's an experiment. We're trying to get everybody out of their comfort zone. Okay, and yeah, this is not easy. This is not easy. This is a challenge. Definitely a challenge. Okay, upper lip and shadow under the lower lip. This will help with the feature placement. Oh, God. Oh, you are. Oh, I get you. Wow, Wales, UK. That sounds like so cool. Now, listen, I'm just kind of rambling here, and sometimes I need to use a governor on my brain to not say what I'm really thinking sometimes. Yeah, absolutely. But no, there is. I'm not gonna like shy away from. I live in a beautiful neighborhood, but I have a next door neighbor who's like clueless, and they drive me cuckoo. And yes, I'm sure my dogs drive them cuckoo too. So it works both ways. Absolutely, it does. That's freaking funny, Phoenix. Oh my God. What's your favorite music? Actually, I'm not saying you're blasting music, but I'm curious. Drawing with a blend in is fun to be right now. That's pretty cool. Pencil pages, truffles. Truffles is sleeping in my wife's office. So okay. I'm gonna. I don't know if this is gonna do anything, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use this brush now, and I want to push into the paper. See if this gets a different effect. This is really. I'm scrubbing the paper now. And when you do this, it's very, very easy to erase it. I'm into blues and I play it with my headphones. Okay. Are you squinting at while drawing this? Diego, I am not, but Diego, listen to me. You're right on point. I constantly say that to my students, and I should be squinting. So thank you so much for the reminder. It's like I said this multiple times to my students in class because this week we were drawing with tone. Um, I was talking about like different lights and shadows and all the different types of light sources. And I'm like, squint at the model like you need a pair of glasses. Squint at the model like you need a pair of glasses. And a few students squinted. And there are other techniques, Diego, that I use. I have one neighbor who always comes over asking for money. Yeah, okay. I'm not touching that one. That's a good one, though. That was freaking hilarious. So, Diego, like, the other things that I've said in today's class, where I keep saying, keep the lights light, keep the shadows shadowy. In order to have light, you must have dark. People don't always see that. And so, Diego, I think it's massive when you squint. And that's a really, really good reminder of what you just said there. Because when you squint, you can actually see this stuff. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't like this pencil for this because it it I think it has like a wax in it. Um, Now, my question to everybody, I'm taking a poll. In the beginning of the video, I said I'm a big believer in just using one material. And we just cranked this out in like 45 minutes. So I'm happy with that. But can I use a different pencil now? Can I use a different pencil now? I or do you want to see how I work on this drawing with one pencil? Let me know, please. I'm taking a mid whatchamacallit poll, a mid live stream poll right now. And okay, 1 second. Okay, that's cool. I appreciate your flexibility. So, Megana, can you please describe the tonal value because it's like two value study. It is a two value study, Megana. So, basically, why is that? Like, why is it only two values? And it's only two values because in the beginning, you just want to block in the basic light and shade before you start to model. Okay, match the pencils, Don. Okay, cool. I appreciate that. Um, Yeah, so Megana, you just want to use light and dark in the beginning, and then you could start to model. Where's that other pencil? 1 second. Does that make sense, what I just said there about just overall using the basic light and shade at first? Ah, there it is. Okay. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm going to combine this now with the Blackwing 602 because yeah, there's a lot of hard edges on this that I feel like I want to play with, and so I still well look at the point on this pencil. So this is not conducive to working with tone, but I'm gonna try to work with tone. I'm gonna try to draw like a painter. So I'm just trying to be a little bit more chiseled. So I guess the beginning of this was full tone, and now I'm switching more to getting sharper. So, like, let's talk about this one thing here that I don't talk enough about, but that is extremely important. Um, Deep fried friends, thank you. Is we're changing up the style a little bit of how I'm drawing because you have to deal with edges, and edges are soft, lost, hard. So right now I'm trying my very best to bring a couple of more harder edges into this drawing. And if everything is too soft, that's no good. You need a balance of hard and soft edges, and it's funny because when I talk about hard and soft edges for the first time with students, like they look at me like I'm on drugs. Like, wait, what edges? No one's ever talked about edges before, and edges are a valuable thing. They're just very very valuable, and so that erased beautifully. I'm getting anxious for you not having a piece of paper below your hand. Oh my God, yeah. Okay, thank you. Slar, let's do it. Let's do it. But this Slar, check this out. This should erase beautifully right now. Look at that mess over there. Okay. Um, oh, the neighbor's got the blower now. Okay, perfect for the live stream. You know, this microphone is a royal pain in the butt because if I talk over here, you can't hear me. But it's beautiful because speaking of anxiety, Slora, I would get massive amounts of anxiety back in the day when I had a microphone. It would pick everything up. And I used to like refilm videos all the time, all the time. Um, yes, but right now you're not hearing a leaf blower. I know you're not. I know you're not. That's not light. I just did that for drawing purposes. This is very different than the way that I normally draw on YouTube. And I draw many different ways. I draw digitally, I draw on the Cintiq, in Photoshop, I draw with my Colorase, I draw on newsprint, I draw on toned paper. So I do a lot of different things. And For many years, I just did the same thing over and over again. I just worked with oil paints and mechanical pencil when I was an illustrator. But yeah, so now I like to use a bunch of different materials. It's just fun. I'm dragging this. Now, should I put pencil here for slower? Yes, I should, because I'm probably smudging it on my screen. So 1 second. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Professional. I am now professional. Okay. That's too close for me. I need to move it to the right. Now, I can't do this because then I block the comments because my YouTube comments. Oh, there goes the pencil on the floor. Okay, hold on. Hold on, people. I I need to go all arts and crafts right now and cut this paper with a scissor. Okay. Um, better. I need to be able to see the comments on YouTube here. Better. Okay. Oh my God, the neighbor's going crazy with the leaf blower right now. Crazy. I know you can't hear it, but man, it's distracting me. Okay. Gee whiz. Okay. Um, Let me resolve some more parts of this drawing. So, I'm trying not to draw with an outline. I am trying to use edges. I am trying my very best to harden edges because you need a balance of hard and soft edges in your artwork. If everything is too soft, everything looks and feels like it's blurry. If everything is too hard, everything looks and feels flat because then it looks a little bit more graphic designy. Okay, and I also need very much so to resolve this edge of the model's face. Deep fried friends, is it better to draw with a mechanical pencil or a graphite pencil? So I'm gonna say this, deep fried friends. There's no right and there's no wrong, but as a human being, you will go through phases, and because human beings, if you have too much certainty, you get bored. And if you have too much uncertainty, you start to get and feel like a little anxious. So I used my mechanical pencil for many, many years when I was an illustrator. And the reason why I did was because I used to do my sketches for the art directors on small 8.5 by 11 copy paper. And I would fax, this is very, very old, I get you. I would fax the sketch to the art director. So since I worked on 8.5 by 11 copy paper, I needed to use a really small mechanical pencil, and I love that. And for me, that worked for many, many, many years. And then I started teaching life drawing at the School of Visual Arts, and I was stubborn, and I only used my mechanical pencil when I was teaching life drawing, but that really doesn't work. So I eventually was in search. It took me years to find a pencil that I became somewhat happy with, and that took me years. So I would say that I like the mechanical pencil still, but I don't use it that much, but I still think it's very cool. And I still feel that some of the students in my class, when they do their homework with the mechanical pencil in their sketchbook, like their drawings are like phenomenal. I'm going to talk about Sammy because Sammy is a current student of mine. And I love Sammy to death, and Sammy knows where I'm coming from. So, Sammy was in my foundation drawing class last year, and I think Sammy used the mechanical pencil to a fault. Like Sammy just wouldn't change, and I just accepted that. And I think Sammy would have benefited greatly of not doing live drawings from the model using a mechanical pencil. It's just there's a time and a place for every pencil, and yeah, so mechanical pencil's good. You're working from home. You're working small. You're working in your sketchbook. You don't want to constantly have to keep sharpening the pencil and make a mess. I think the mechanical pencil is good for that. I also feel that the mechanical pencil is very good to train your hand not to be heavy handed, because when you're too heavy handed with the mechanical pencil, you constantly break the graphite in the pencil, and then you gotta press it to make more graphite come out, and that's a legit thing, no doubt about it. That's legit. I'm making the neck a little longer. I know that's going off the video screen. Um, okay, so we're really tonal right now, and I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I'm gonna. Okay, just doing a little bit of the ear. You got it, deep fried friends. Yeah, my right now. Where is it? Oh God, I thought I had it right here. I've always loved these, and I take the pocket clip off because that's so annoying. For years, I also used this one when I was using these. I was stubborn. I would use the bigger, thicker graphite in the classroom. And then I just absolutely, where is it? Where is it? I used it when I was cutting paper. But now I found this one, and it's so good with that thicker. I never thought I would like that thicker, but I do like it's pretty cool. Who knows? Maybe we'll use the graphite, the mechanical, in this drawing for fun. We'll call it a three pencil drawing. So I'm going to put tone over here. I'm trying to draw with tone today to make the neck pop. I don't want to use an outline, but I want to use tone. And I think I need to pay a little bit more attention now to this hair. I hear one of my dogs at the door. Um, okay, and this hair comes down a lot to the eyebrow. That's better. Ultimately, deep fried friends, the simpler answer to your question is let me go get my friend. 1 second. Just gonna switch cameras here for a moment to introduce my arch nemesis, Bubba. Bubba, how you doing, bro? Oh, you kissing me today? Oh, you licking your chops? What'd you eat for breakfast there? You licking your chops? Do you want to say hello to everybody on the live stream? No, you don't care. Oh, yeah, Jesus. Don't lick my nose. Oh, you're tired too. Okay. All right. You ready to get out of my office? Uh-oh, it's a stare down. It's a stare down. You all right there, buddy? Is everything okay? Okay, you're out of here, pal. Ultimately, Bubba usually comes into my home office because Bubba wants something, and I don't know what Bubba wants. Um, awesome. Okay. God, where am I with this drawing? I don't know. I think I just need to draw a little bit more before I go back to the blend-in stump. Yeah, I still miss my true dog, which is Chloe, who's and then this hair needs to come more in the middle of the bridge of the nose. We had to put Chloe down in May. It was the worst. I've had Chloe for 12 and a half years, and totally sucked. Totally sucked. Bubba's more my wife's dog. Bubba's my dog too, but Bubba just follows my wife around like everywhere, and Chloe was my dog. Absolutely. So yeah, Bubba's like a alcohol, an acquired taste, like an acquired wine or something. So I'm getting used to Bubba a little slowly but surely. Um, Bubba just barks like way too much, and I got to get used to that. Chloe never barked, only when I came home from the city. Okay, so we've got that. That doesn't look too bad. This is all darker. Gonna put a little bit more graphite down and then I'll blend it in. And this, yeah, that curves down. And this should be taller, closer to the hair shadow. A little bit taller over here too. This eyebrow cast shadow blends in with the hair. And I think, one of the reasons why this sculpture was rejected from Madame X, the nose needs to be a little higher. Um, and this was done by Rodin, is because it said Madame X didn't like that the nose was too big. I think the nose looks great. That's just me. But who am I? I'm no Madame X, nor Rodin. We're not drawing nostrils, people. We're drawing a shape of shadow and cast shadow together. Okay, then we have cast shadow that comes down that I never really liked to draw this type of cast shadow on the book covers that I used to paint because it kind of almost starts to look like a little bit of a mustache, which is not good when you're painting a 12-year-old girl and on a young reader book cover. So I would always light the models without that cast shadow there. And it was just much more user friendly. And then when I first started painting book covers, I didn't understand that. So I had a lot of not so pretty book covers. Let's just say that. I'm going to resharpen the pencil. Okay, and I'm going to I'm still trying to draw with tone. It's not easy. I want to do some lines, and maybe I will. But so far, we're an hour and into our drawing time. I would say like an hour and 10 minutes into the live stream, and it's been primarily a tonal drawing, no doubt. So now I need to go back to the blending stump, but before I do, I just need to get a little drink of water here. 1 second. So this is not bad for 1 hour blocking, right? We're just blocking in, and it's not much. The statue doesn't have like a lot of detail with the eyes and all of that. Um, so yeah, it's good for a 1 hour live stream or a 2 hour live stream, depending on how long we go. So this is from Slar. Trying new tools is one of the best part of an artist. Yeah, I would agree with you. It's really fun. Now, Slar, with some people, um, they try new materials to a fault. Like they never become an expert with one material, and because they never give that one material a chance to actually blossom. And like I think there's something to be said for that, where um, you you just like to. I'm not saying you. I'm just talking about people in general. A lot of people in general in the art community like to constantly buy new materials, and they never like become a master at one tool. And I think the people that you see that you really like, and you really watch them draw digitally, traditionally, all that jazz. I'm going to venture to say that most of those people have become like an expert using at least one tool. Most, not all, but most. Now, you could answer me right back and be like, well, you're using a different tool, and you're right. But that's after using limited tools for multiple decades. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've been using the color erase pencil now for 20 years, and that's my go-to tool. Um, so yes, but this is just more of like a fun thing. And see, I'm starting to go too dark now, so I this is this is not good. I'm starting to go a little bit too dark, so I'm gonna have to go back to the brush and take some pencil off of the paper. Yeah, the I just made the eyebrow way too dark. Darn it. So this isn't my favorite. What I'm doing here, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I'm not enjoying this. I'm enjoying the process of drawing this. It's fun, but I'm not necessarily gonna enjoy the final product because I'm unable, at least right now with my experience with this tool. Um, yeah, agreed. That I'm so used to my Cola Ace pencil for the longer drawings where I can get all of those subtle gazillion shades of gray, and I could be much, much more subtle with my Cola Ace than I am right now, my capabilities with graphite. On this pencil paper combination, I don't have as much experience, but it's still pretty fun. And I'm just going to use some variety here. I'm going to use a tortillion, which is just almost the same thing as the blended stump, just a little bit pointier. That's way too dark for me. It's a 6B. In the classroom on newsprint, I like 9B. It that might seem a little bit overkill, but it is so rich and beautiful to draw with. Um, Absolutely, it is. I just don't have enough experience, and I'm gaining experience right now with this pencil on white paper, and I don't like it as much on this white paper. Absolutely not. That's just me. That's my gut impression right now with this. I think I should not. I mean, I'll use my eraser, but I should be pretty much, these facial features like the eyes are so subtle. They're so subtle. Like I should just be drawing with the tortillon on this and not the actual pencil in and of itself. So I need to keep my lights light and my shadows shadowy, and not go too dark. And with this stuff that I'm doing right now, I'm going to have to use my kneaded eraser and drag my kneaded eraser around to draw and pull out some lights, clean up some edges. I've gotten a little heavy with the drawing right about now. Yes. Okay. So let me use this brush 1 second. I think I would have liked this so much better on newsprint. I'm going to just use this brush to smear and push. And next I got to draw with my kneaded eraser, unfortunately. So I'm just scrubbing my paper right now, pushing the pencil into the nooks and crannies of the tooth of the paper. Now, here we go. I got to clean this brush because I do not want to use this brush when I'm working with my Colorase, because I use this brush all the time with my Colorase. This is working for me because, the problem with this situation is the graphite doesn't go into the tooth. Oh, wow, this brush is falling apart on me. I've had this thing for years. Doesn't go into the tooth of the paper. And this is pushing. I know I'm overkilling it right now, but I'm just trying to get more of that smoother look because this statue is so smooth. Okay. Now I need to draw with the eraser. I don't know why I'm so thirsty today, but I'm very thirsty. I think I overdid it this weekend with physical activity. That's why. Just looking for the eraser. Let's see. Appreciate that, Lenny. Lenny Danger. Man, that is a cool name. Lenny Danger. I need a name like that. Jesus Christ. Matt Danger. That would be fun. That would be really fun. Okay, needed eraser time. So questions that we ask ourselves on the statue when you look at it or squint at it. Where's the lightest light? Well, there's the highlight on the nose is very light. The highlight on the hair over here is very light. So those are two super light areas. Let's establish this light. I'm just dragging this on the paper. So the thing with this sort of style of drawing is, you've got to be in this for the long haul because this takes forever. And an hour in the grand scheme of things is like nothing. So this Mono Zero is pretty cool. Try this too. The difference between this, obviously, and the kneaded eraser is that this just leaves all the eraser crumbs. This is pretty light over here. Don't get too caught in the weeds. Like, it's just light. I feel like I don't have as much control with the big eraser. I like the Mono Zero way more, but the kneaded eraser has its place. This is erasing out pretty good. It's not bad. Again, would I do this type of drawing again? No, not for me, but for a tutorial, maybe. And then there's also different papers. This paper is relatively cheap. It's not really a high-end paper by any stretch of the imagination. Um, Gotta erase that eyebrow. It's way too. I appreciate that, deep fried friends. Let's see. Let's see here. Does that need to be higher? I should sharpen this. 1 second. Of course, my razor blade's on the other side of the flipping room. Okay. Let's not say we did. Okay, bridge of the nose. Highlight. I just made it way too thick, but let's keep going. And there's a little light on this side of the eye. Cheekbone comes out. Edge of the nose needs to have a really hard edge. So I'm kind of drawing with this eraser right now, a little bit more so. Just looking. Now, I'm not squinting right now. I really do need to sharpen this eraser, so I'm going to have to get up in a second. That's just an eyeball catching light. Some light underneath the lower eyelid. This is fun. It's very fun. I just I'm a little unsure as to what the final outcome is going to look like. So this is where you get to see me crash and burn or not. Okay. I'll stick with the. I want to sharpen this so bad. um, Now, for those of you who want to get into painting, that's too light. Um, this is a great way for you to start your painting journey without paint, because what we're doing here is the identical thing as in my brain as painting, because we're primarily working with tone. And again, I just feel if it you are that student who only likes to work with outlines, and that's the only thing that you do. I do think that it's good for you just to experiment with doing something like this. Not that you're going to change and you're going to not outline anymore. It's just a different way of seeing things. And it's good to see things differently, especially like when you're an artist. And then it's also good just not to be that like one hit wonder. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have you now. I shouldn't make underneath the neck too light. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have like your one thing that you're really really good at and you have most confidence with. But what I am saying is that it's good because this makes your eyes see things differently. That's not even in the video, so I won't work on that. Um, questions? Any questions? Um, I need to go get I need to get up off this freaking chair for a minute. So listen to me, people. It's time for a bathroom break for me. And then coming back from my bathroom break, I need to get my razor blade so I can sharpen this pencil. So I'll leave all this up for you to look at, and maybe you want to continue drawing. I need like a minute or two. I will be right back. All right. We're back. We're back, and I forgot the razor blade. One second. Okay, I need to sharpen this thing because I need to do some finer details with it. Uh, Okie dokie. So let's see. What can I work on? I can work on changing my glasses. And, okay, so there's a little. I need to put more pencil down on this paper. A little light over there. Cheekbone, we've got, I think we've got it. Um, how far away is the tip of the nose from the side of the face is a question you've got to ask yourself. Very much drawn like a painter. Like, so what I'm doing right now with some of this mono zero eraser is just the same thing as putting down some brushwork. So, like I said earlier, before we took our little 1 minute, 2 minute break, if you want to get into oil painting, aka portrait painting, I think this would be your intro into that. Like, I really do believe that this is kind of like the same thing as oil painting. No doubt. Um, yes. How do you know when to stop with those kinds of drawings. I think it is never really finished because you can work forever on something like that. So, Lenny Danger, the ultimate answer to that question that you just asked is I'm talking about hierarchy and not in the weeds, but big picture is what is your style? And what do you want your body of work to actually look like? And that is the ultimate answer to your question. So if you want your portfolio to be consistently highly realistic, well, then you stop when your drawing that you're working on looks like the other ones that you've worked on in the past. So you have consistency. That's the answer to that question, in my opinion. And this got me into trouble when I was an illustrator. So when I was an illustrator and I took on too many jobs and I couldn't meet the deadlines, and so I rushed the painting. The art, I would hand in the painting, and the art director would literally say to me, "This is not the this doesn't match with the paintings in your portfolio." And I was like, son of a bitch. Like I go, God damn it. And so if you want to do this for fun, that's one thing. But if you want to do this and earn a living, and on your website you have a certain caliber of work that looks a certain style, and then all of a sudden you change that, and I like how I would change it is it would start to become painterly, and the art directors would not like that at all. And then I'd get myself into trouble, and that would be almost like, am I going to lose the client because this painting sucked in the style department? It doesn't look anything like my other paintings do. And so that's like how you really, that's ultimately will tell you when you're done, because you're absolutely right. This can go on forever. So then I say to students, I'll say, listen, what is your ultimate lifestyle, and what is the lifestyle that you want to lead? Do you want to be in the studio all day painting brushstrokes of like thousands of strands of hair, or do you want to just not be in the studio for all those hours, painting for all those hours? Do you want an easier lifestyle where you spend less time on the paintings? And that's the real question. So what is the lifestyle that you want your art to afford you? And so my teacher said this to me way back when I was in second year of college, and I showed one of my painting teachers one of my paintings, and they were like, are you sure you want to do that style? You're going to be in your studio every holiday painting, blades of grass. And I'm like, I don't care. I just want to get illustration work. And then they were right. So, yeah. Hope that answered that question. Okay. Let me put a piece of tape under here. Oh, nuts. I'm getting all stuff all over my brand new keyboard. Okay, 1 second. One second. Okay. What am I doing next here? I don't even know. Let's see. This background is not this dark, but I don't care. I'm just going to go. I'm not going to match the value. I'm going to manipulate. This comes out. Do you hold your pencil lightly as soon as for me, it's not about my wrist at all. it's about my elbow. And as a matter of fact, I've got this sleeve on my elbow for elbow tendonitis. It's a sleeve called Incrediwear. They sell them on Amazon, and I have them for my knees. I'm old, so yeah. Uh, I hold my pencil different pressures at different times. Like what I'm doing right now, I'm not really gripping it hard. Like it's a light grip, but it's you have to know when to use a hard pressure. So pressure that you push down on your pencil is different than how tight you hold it. And when I think about it, I'm not holding my pencil tight at all. No. Right now, it's like I'm not even close to using like a full hard grip. It's more about when to use pressure to get these darks with the material that you are using. I think the pencil that hurts my hand the most is the Apple pencil. Um, that one hurts my hand, but thank goodness, like I've got a lot of problems health wise with my joints, but my wrist so far is not one of them. It's primarily my elbow. Yeah, totally. So how are we doing with this drawing? I don't know. I don't know. Any other questions? Let me know, please. Maybe we'll do this. I don't know. I'm not ready to stop just yet, but I'm just kind of walking around the drawing a little bit here and just kind of messing with it. Do I love it? Not really. It's not my favorite because I'm not really liking this material, but I'm getting out of my comfort zone. I'm showing you something different. I'm trying not to be a one-hit wonder. Ultimately, my favorite pencil is the Color Race pencil, but I know a lot of you can't even, the ear is way too big, or maybe this needs to be pushed out. Yes. Just trying to use something different, something, because I know a lot of you use graphite. Yeah, and then another thing, Lenny, with your question, and I've done this so many times. Like I could tell you horror stories in my life of when I used to be an illustrator. I'll tell you like one horror story, and that was like the end for me. So I remember I used to rent this office in this town called Islip. It's the weirdest named town, but it's a beautiful town. It's ISLIP, like I slip on the ice. Um, and I rented this beautiful office on the second floor overlooking the town. It was the 90s, so everything was so much cheaper. Now it probably is completely unaffordable to rent, but it was beautiful while it lasted back in the day. And to get to my little story here, I just remember I was working on the painting. I used to mail all my paintings back in the day via FedEx because I worked with clients all over the United States, and so I'd have to mail the paintings, and I would mail them wet, and they would each of the paintings would have a cover, and I'd put it in a FedEx box, and I would just ship it. So I'll never forget, like one time, like I packed, I had to get to FedEx by 7 p.m. And it was like 6 o'clock. I started like packing up the painting. It was 6:25. I went all the way downstairs, got in my car, was ready to go to FedEx, and I was like, no, I gotta fix that one part of the head. So I ran back up to my office and I unpacked the entire box, took the cover off, and then I started fixing the part of the painting. And then I'm like, oh shit, I just ruined it. I shouldn't have done that. And so that I did that more than once. Like I was really, it used to be really anal retentive with all this stuff. And I said to myself, that's when I know I'm finished. When I work on the painting, it's not perfect, and then I go to try to make it perfect and I fuck it up. Excuse my language. That is a telltale sign that I need to stop. And I should have stopped and I should have listened to my gut, but I didn't listen to my gut because I have a perfectionist mentality. And so you have to do these silly things like unpack the painting, then run back to the car and speed to FedEx before 7 p.m., before they close, back in the day, I'm talking about like the 90s. Um, this should be over to the left more. So, yeah, you know when you're done when you go to work on it and it's good and you try to make it perfect and there's no such thing as perfection and you fuck it up. And that's when you know you've taught yourself when to be done. I hope that helps. Yes, I effed it up. Deep fried friends, where are you? Is drawing upside down a good exercise for getting better at drawing? I've seen people throw that around for decades. So I think deep fried friends that it's really important that you, if you're struggling with a drawing and you're like, oh God, I'm kind of at my wit's end. I don't know. I can't get the likeness. I don't know what else to do. Well, you just hold your drawing upside down for like a couple of minutes and you look at it and you try to get a different point of view. But it's not, to me, it's not like the end all and be all technique. Like I do this in the classroom all the time. So in like I do a critique of the students' background perspective drawings. There are digital paintings, and it's a really fun critique, but I'm not going to lie, it's a very difficult critique because you're critiquing 20 people in like 1 hour, and that is so very hard, and you've got to do that very fast. And so, one of the techniques that I employ, deep fried friends, is that I most definitely look at their paintings with them together upside down, and we look at that together. And I'm like, okay, where are we looking in your background? Oh gosh, we're looking in the corner or we're looking at the model's foot. And then I just asked them, I'm like, do you want me to look at the model's shoe or do you want me to look at the model's head? Where do you want me to look? So that is the main benefit of working upside down momentarily. Now, I have an old, I don't even know the title of it. I don't even know when I uploaded it, but I have an old painting somewhere on YouTube where I worked upside down on a painting. Um, I don't even know where it is, and I probably wouldn't go find it because it's probably cringe. Um, so yeah, but it's a legit thing, and I used to do it when I was at my wit's end and I couldn't figure out what was not working. So, Jake, all confidence just comes through time, and confidence comes by every time you do a painting, you journal about it and you write down what went well. And if you constantly are beating yourself up about what you sucked at, and this sucks, that sucks, I sucks, why can't I be as good as the other people? And how come I can't get a likeness? And so you're really only focusing in on the negative. That is a surefire way to destroy your confidence. So, one way to build confidence is to know what style you are striving for, your style of art. And then, secondly, you need to not beat yourself up if the piece did not turn out the way that you wanted it to. Like, you need to write down what went well and what you did really good. Because then, what that is you build up um, kind of like a book about all the things that you did really good. And it's not like fluff. It's not like, oh, like you did the worst painting ever and then you write down, wow, it came out so good. No, it's not about that. It's about being honest with yourself and saying, okay, fine, this needs work and I didn't do so good with that, but I need to improve that on the next one and I need to improve A, B, and C. But you also need to write down what you did really good. And over time, you're like, yeah, I've made those mistakes and I know what they're all about, but I know what I'm really good at and I'll get there. I'm not there yet. And that's how you build up your confidence. And you build up your confidence through repetition is the mother of skill. And I didn't build, my confidence was like terrible when I was younger in my 20s. And then as I started getting more into my mid 20s, and I had dozens and dozens and dozens of paintings under my belt that I did good on and ones that I butchered. After a while, when you have all of that, You're like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I've got a lot of history now, and I'm starting to get like a little bit more confident. And I notice that in other things that I do outside of art, um, where I'm a beginner at, and then like, well, I've been doing this now for like this many years, and like I've got to like just trust myself like a little bit more because I've done this for so many years now. And no, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm getting there, and I'm much much better than where I used to be, and that is a great way to build up your confidence. Isn't the drawing a photo upside down from the book dealing with the apps? Yes, I think so. Pencil pages. Yeah, drawing on the right side of the brain. I forgot the author, but listen, nothing is new. Everything has been used before. So we're talking about drawing on the drawing upside down. That's nothing new. That was around for many, many years, and the book is drawing on the right side of the brain. And I remember using that book when I was in grade school. And I go into classes when I was in literally sixth grade with my friend Steven Rocco. And we went to a drawing class on Saturday because we both loved drawing. And the teacher was talking about all of those techniques from the book Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain. So I don't even want to tell you when that was because then I'll feel like a dinosaur. But let's just say it was a very long time ago. You got it, Lenny. Okay. Um, I don't know. How much longer should I work on this thing? Um, it still needs a little bit more work. I think. What am I doing here? Let me just move the piece of paper for a second. Do I love it? It's all right. So, okay, so let's go through that exercise together here on YouTube. So, in this drawing, what went well? Well, I'm almost 2 hours in, and I think the drawing looks pretty good considering I've never used this paper pencil combination before. So that went well for me. Like I'm satisfied with where I'm at after 2 hours. So that went well. I took a chance. I tried something different, and that's a good thing. What needs work? Well, I think I love this pencil, but what needs work is I need to find a paper outside of newsprint that I like to use with this pencil because this pencil holds a lot of promise for me because it's very easy on my hand and wrist. So I think that's what needs work. I really need to take some time and not always buy pencils, but buy paper. Um, totally, I need to do that. Slar, thank you. I appreciate that, Slar. Um, I'm finding now trusting my eyes more. The drawing comes out better and more relaxed, even if it's not perfect. Yes, yeah. So you the here's the goal. Here's the goal. The goal is to strive for perfection with the understanding that there is no such thing as perfection because us human beings are flawed humans, and that's the truth. So you strive to be perfect, and then in doing so, you get a percentage better with every piece of art that you do. So I say this to my younger students. I'm like, listen, people, we're not looking to get 100% better with one painting. We're trying to incrementally improve. So if you improve like 2% better each week, by the end of the semester, in my class alone with your backgrounds, you've gotten 30% better, 2 times 15 weeks. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You're not going to get 30% better in one piece. You'll get 30% better over the semester with me as your teacher. And everybody's different. Some people learn faster, some people work harder, some people don't work hard, and everybody's different. So there's that. Where are we? Ball at the tip of the nose. Yeah, I definitely like my Cola Race drawings better than this. This was just faster. So there's no such thing as the perfect pencil. There is just with pencils there are trade-offs. Cola Race pencil's my favorite pencil, but the trade-off is that it destroys my hands pressing down hard, and it takes forever to get this sort of tone, this dark. So that's the trade-off. But I'm in way more control with the Cola Race. The positive about this pencil is that I'm able to get darks really fast and block in tone quickly. The trade-off, I can't really. I feel as though I don't like the aesthetic of this, the way this pencil looks on the paper. So that's the trade-off. Aesthetically, for my eye, it's not pleasing to my eye, the way that this pencil looks on this paper, because I'm seeing like little black specks everywhere, and I don't necessarily like that. So that's what you need to do when you're working. And again, everybody has their reasons for doing art. Now, listen, I'm into the video almost 2 hours in the live stream. I'm giving you as much value as I know how to give you. I'm going to give myself a little commercial. For those of you who are not progressing as fast as you would like to progress, you should consider looking at my one-to-one coaching. It's a little bit of an investment, but compared to other coaching modules from other people, it is probably the least expensive out there. And so what is missing in your artwork is not your talent. You have talent. What is missing is a process for being consistent. And what is missing is having a coach with another set of eyes looking at your artwork and telling you immediately, hey, why are you doing this? Like, this is what's tripping you up. It's not that you don't have talent. It's not that you don't work hard. It's that you're doing this thing. And you're like, oh my God, I never even thought about that. And sometimes you just need another set of eyes. And I offer that with my one-to-one coaching. And in a quicker way, a less detailed way, I also offer that via my critique gallery on my website, drawingtutorialsonline.com. So if you don't want to spend the hundreds of dollars for coaching, you can spend less than $20 and become a member of the site and get a professional artist slash teacher actually critique your artwork and tell you what something is that maybe you never even thought about. And that is different than you watching me here on YouTube. You watching me here on YouTube is great because I'm trying to teach you stuff, and I'm trying not to be salesy, and I'm trying to give you some value for your time. But if you want a little bit more than just watching me draw, well then consider one or two of those things that I just talked about. Now, if you do sign up to the coaching, you'll get a membership to the website for as long as you're in that coaching. If you sign up to the website, well, then you'll be able to upload one piece of art a week to the critique gallery with your photo reference, and I critique it. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a critique this afternoon after this live stream. Eldeberto Costa. Thank you so much, Eldeberto Costa. Now, listen to me. I don't think I closed the gallery. I close it on Monday. I forgot to close it this morning. Eldeberto, you should definitely upload one of your drawings today, soon, when this live stream is over, to the critique gallery. Now, when you upload your drawing to my critique gallery, put your name in the title of your upload. And upload your photo reference if you drew from photo reference, like what we're doing here. And ask me a question or two, or tell me what you struggled with. And I will do my best to give you a critique today. And it'll be posted tomorrow, that you could watch and get value from immediately and not guess as to why you're struggling. That is huge. And A lot of you on YouTube are doing the right thing. You're here today, you're watching me, you're asking questions. You watch all the other great teachers on YouTube. And that's good because there's a whole lot of people that are better than me at doing this. So I think I'm pretty good, but there's a lot of great people. And, I'm not saying who's better or who's not better. It's just you get value, and that's a good thing. But it's good to get feedback on your stuff. And again, the only difference between what I'm doing here right now and the coaching is we talk more about your stuff and not my stuff. That's the difference. Okay, how much longer should I work on this thing? Thank you, Eldeberto. Eon Art, welcome, Mexico. I've got a wonderful member of my website, Carmela. Carmela is from Mexico, and Carmela works so hard, and Carmela's drawings are freaking amazing. Really, really, really good. Love Carmela to death. Carmela, are you watching today? I'm trying to go slow for you, Carmela, but I know you're going to be just as fast as me soon enough. Yes. So once you get residual graphite on this Blendin Stump Tortillion, you can draw with it more. Let me go back to this monstrosity here. 1 second, I got to get a little drink of water. I have not looked at this drawing from far away yet. I have no idea if I got the likeness or not. Normally, I just get up off of my chair and look at it from far away, but today I'm being lazy. It's funny. I don't care too much about this drawing because it's the graphite, and it doesn't look that bad. And sometimes you do your better drawings when you don't care, right? If you care too much, well, then you try too hard and you're not relaxed. And I think that's what's happening to me here today. I don't really care about the drawing so much. I'm just doing this for fun. And so when you do that, it's better. That was a good one, Lenny. You made me laugh here on Monday morning. Um, be careful with what you do over here with this sort of stuff because this is called energy. I talked about this last week in the live stream with shading. And if you could, like, this is energy too. Like, I'm being a monster right now. I'm pressing down really hard. This could become distracting on the edge. Let me zoom out for a second so you can see what the heck I'm doing. Yeah, there we are. So I kind of want this to blend away. Oh, it's funny. Like, I can't tell if the hair needs to be taller. It almost looks like this beautiful Madam X has like a little bit of like bedhead because the hair is like pushed down. It just looks so funny to me. Now, one of my favorite paintings is the John Singer Sargent Madam X, and this is the Rodin Madam X. I mean, talk about a great time to be like alive in history. I can't imagine like the talent and all those people. And I'm forgetting listen, I suck at art history, but I'm pretty sure it was like late 1800s. I'm pretty sure that. How does the shoulder go? It loops. We're just going to fade away. You got to get shoulders in your portrait drawings. You just have to. Because then it looks weird. It looks like the model's head was lopped off and the head is floating. I hope this is giving you some value today on YouTube. This is kind of fun. What am I doing? This neck looks not so good. So the chest collarbone area is where the light is, not the neck. The neck is a front plane, and the top planes are catching shadow. Yes, you made me laugh, Lenny. Absolutely. Where do you live, by the way? And I'm sorry if I've already asked. Sometimes I get dizzy when I do these live streams. I'm trying to get rid of this freaking pencil texture. I'm not a fan. Um, I don't know what I'm trying to accomplish here, but I like smoother. Oh God, this is like old school. This freaking drawing. Um, I'm pushing into the paper, pushing into the paper. Oh, North Germany. Wow. That is freaking cool. I have a member named Dieter Frank. I didn't realize Dieter was Frank's first name, so I just call Dieter Frank. And welcome, Igor. I watched some videos on YouTube about, I guess it's the racetrack. Is it Nuremberg? I don't know. Is that North Germany? That racetrack and the landscape over there, it looks beautiful. And then every once in a while, like I'll watch these crazies on the what do you call that road again? I'm forgetting. Damn it! I just remembered the name of the road. Now I'm forgetting. Um, where people just speed like super fast. I better be careful with the detail here, because I don't know how long I want to commit to this. And I just went too dark. Okay. Okay. So I don't think I'm done, but I got to be careful. Autobahn. Yes. Thank you, Neil. Damn it. Love that. I don't think we can have an. Well, we do have an autobahn here in the United States. It's called the Long Island Expressway going to New York, um, but it's really not the autobahn. But it kind of feels that way. Um, yeah, no speed limits there. Wow, that's crazy. Pretty cool though to watch on. I've watched like a lot of drivers drive on there with fast cars, and it's really entertaining. I don't like that eye whatsoever. There's a lot of values that are wrong with it. I'm having a hard time getting it right. I need to just think of it as. Let me get my little eraser because that needed eraser is messing with me. Let me try this one more time. I had it and then I destroyed it. Light pressure. Yeah, I had that and then I destroyed it from overworking it. I always talk a lot about this issue that I fall into when I do the live streams, and I'm not trying to make excuses. Is right now, like my head. Sorry for my bald head, but my head should be there. I should be closer to the drawing, and I'm extremely far away from the drawing, so my head doesn't get into the video. So when I'm done with the live stream, I'll work on the drawing for a little longer, and I'll get a little bit closer to it, and I'll try my very best to make that eye work a little bit better. And same thing with the nose. Like the nose is not working for me right now because I really do need to get closer to the drawing. I'm a little bit too far away from it. All right, Lenny, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll be here next Monday. Just um, check. It'll be these two times, 10 or 10:30, 10 a.m. New York time, 10:30 a.m. New York time, or if something happens where I just need a little bit more time, it'll be like 11 a.m. But that's the time that I have scheduled for this. So thank you, Lenny. The right eye on the sculpture looks wonky. I agree with you. When I was picking the reference this morning, I said to myself, "Do I really want to draw that eye on the sculpture? Are people on YouTube going to say my drawing looks wonky?" So that's a really good eye, deep fried friends, that you notice that the eye on the sculpture looks wonky. And on the page on the Met, actually, um, hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna at risk of screwing everything up. Um, 1 second. Yeah, I just need to see if I can't find the history. If you go, oh, well, I was gonna go there now, but I'm not gonna go there now because it's just too much adjusting, and we're coming to the end of this live stream. But if you go to the Met collection and you type in Rodin, Rodin, and you type in, you'll get all of Rodin's works, and you will see the work of Madame X. And they, in the comments of the sculpture, they do comment on that the eyes. I think Madame X is supposed to be like in this relaxed state. So yeah, the eye. I think they were kind of like looking down, and their eyes were like semi closed, and so yeah, you're right. That's like a legit thing. Just trying to pop some of the highlights on the nose. Just trying to make this edge of the nose the hardest edge on the drawing because this will make the nose come in front of the face. And I think the distance that I have from the edge of the nose to the edge of the face is too far, but that's okay. I'm not going to adjust it. I'm just going to accept that right now. That shouldn't be that light. The tip of the nose, the highlight on the tip of the nose should be the lightest. Now, I'm just playing right now. I want to see what happens. Let me just take some of these eraser crumbs off. I'm just curious to see what happens when I use this white charcoal. It makes it slightly whiter. I don't know if I want to open up that Pandora's box right now. Um, Now, I'll ask this question before the end of the live stream. Do you mind if I start now to use a mechanical pencil? Let me know. Jake, what do you think? Should I try a mechanical? Wow, that's really dark and rich right there. Um, I have no idea what graphite this is. I have no idea, but I want to use it. Um, this is a very hard edge here. Better. So I'm usually against. Um, absolutely not. you got you got me, Jake. You got me. You got me. I'm absolutely against using multiple materials when you're learning how to do values. I think you should be able to do values with like one pencil, and so you develop like your touch. But this is about it. There's also this three-letter word called fun. My friend across the street is still using the leaf blower. They must want to bust my chops today. Absolutely. 6H. I don't know what this is. I don't think it's 6H. I can confidently say that because I know what that feels like. I used to use I used to do my underdrawings on whatchamacallit, gessoed illustration board for my illustrations. And yeah, so I would use 6H because 6H is like 8B on gessoed board. Just works differently. I can't really see what I'm drawing here. I want to zoom in a little bit, but I'm going to leave it. I need to work a little bit on this side of the face. It's not resolved enough. So now we're getting into like a little bit of boringness because to watch this because the drawing is pretty much done for the live stream. So I'm just showing you how I would use this pencil. Like you can probably it's not that exciting for you to watch me do this because I am not you can't probably see what the heck I'm even doing. So now it's getting very subtle and yes. So I'll work on it just for like a little while longer and then we'll call this thing done for the live stream. Yeah, I do like the harder graphite a lot better. But I gotta say, what I learned from today's class is that um, you can just get so much done so much faster by using that Lyra graphite stick. And if you're in a life drawing situation where you don't have a lot of time to work with a model, well, then this might be the material for you, no doubt. I know that this is too dark on the edge of the nose. I'm not prepared to kind of mess with this right now. Let me just lighten this a little. I'll pinch it and just drag on top of it. and then draw on top of it. Yeah, better. And the upper lip also, like, I need to work on that a little bit. All right, what do you think, people? We're over 2 hours. You think we should call this live stream done now? You're getting bored with watching me? Does anybody have any questions before we call this live stream complete? Any other questions before we call this one done? Let me know. I gotta say, I can work on this for hours. Maybe I will. I don't know. The upper lip right now is too thick, so I'm going to have to go into that and make it thinner. And the lower lip needs to be actually darker, and the shadow under the lower lip needs to be darker too. How does one learn how to draw the stomach? All right, I'm gonna finish this outside of camera. So this is I'll post the drawing up later. Yeah. Okay. So what am I doing? So basically, if I just very quickly here draw a torso and obliques, privates, navel. So like it's just going around the lower. I don't call it the stomach. I call it the lower abs, waist area. So yeah, it's just going around. I like, and then with your navel, like you just have to kind of go around like that, and things start to get like a little bit rounder that way. This pencil is so much better. Oh my god. I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you. And how to get inspiration? Um, that's a good question. It's everywhere. You know, I would answer that, deep fried friends, by not overlooking on social media because there's just so much information, so many good artists. I think it gets overwhelming to the point where you get paralyzed from working. So I would just definitely find an artist or two and really study them, and don't constantly jump around to different artists. Like I've got my inspirations, and my most inspiration usually comes from going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, not necessarily looking at an artist online. Um, yeah, you got it, Slor. Thank you. And Jake, any advice for drawing a bronze sculpture? Imagine it's just a lot of more pencil on the paper. Yes, you nailed it. I have a bronze. I have a bronze. Hold on, Jake. Okay, I just got lucky. I found something immediately. Matt, login fails. It might take time to activate the account. So, Eldeberto, I will look at this as soon as the live stream is over. So, when you sign up to the website, if the payment goes through, you should get an email with login instructions. Now, sometimes for some people that goes to your spam folder, so check your spam folder. It shouldn't take long at all. It should take less than 5 minutes, depending on. But it usually is instantaneously. So it might have gone to your spam folder. And if you did not get an email, that means maybe payment didn't go through for whatever reason. And then the other thing is that I appreciate that, deep fried friends. I'm going to get to your question, Jake. Yeah. I will look at this for you, Eldeberto, right after um, the live stream. I promise you. Okay. Jake, so this is a bronze that I did with the Colorase and 3 other colors of pencil on painted board. So the thing that you've got to understand is that yes, you do have to go dark, and yes, you do need those highlights. Like, look, this is all dark, 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 mid-tone, lots of mid-tones, lots of darks, and the highlights really need to be highlighty. Okay, so you need to keep your lights light, and the thing, Jake, also is, do you see over here on the forehead how that is not white charcoal? It's the tone of the board. So you could do this on white paper. It will just take you longer. Yeah, especially I know you tend to work a little bit lighter, so you might want to do this on like a tinted board, the gray paper. I think that would be better. Okay. This just is so much prettier for me than what we drew here today with the graphite. So I listen, I know graphite's not my thing. I know that, but I just wanted to do something different for you. So I think this is marble. I'm not going to say I know 100%. I'd have to look at the page in the Met collection. So if you go to just type in Google Met collection, and when you find the link for the collection, just type in Rodin, and this is the Madame X Rodin. So, all right, everybody, I think I'm going to call this one done. I appreciate if you drew along with me. Let's do this. Yes, Jake. Absolutely. So toned paper might be the better way for you to go. And if I take this off of my screen for a moment, we'll look at it a different way. This is pretty big for me, like for 2 hours. Thank you so much, everybody. I'll hold out a little bit closer. Yeah, that was fun. No doubt. I'll work on it for a little while, not longer, with the understanding. Thank you, Cynthia, for joining. That I hate graphite like this, but it was easy to draw, get that tone down quickly. Totally. And listen, make sure you give the video a like, and if there's anything that you want to see in the future, leave it in the comments section below. The video, like the comment section under the video, not necessarily in the chat. That would be cool too. So thank you once again. Just giving everybody a chance to say goodbye, because there's usually like a 60-second delay, I do believe. So thank you, everybody. Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for all the kind hearts. Awesome, awesome. Appreciate y'all. I'll be back next week on Monday, okay? Thank you for watching. Yeah, you too. Thank you, Eldeberto. I'll look at this like right now when I'm done with the live stream. Be good, everybody. See you, Tim.